Hello, welcome back and welcome to week 6 of my Movember training prep video summaries. I hope you enjoyed last week, and if you did, please make sure you've given it a thumbs up and have subscribed below. Starting things off on a Tuesday this week, simply down to the fact that I needed an extra day's rest as I was so fried after last week. So it's done the job, I'm feeling good, feeling rested, feeling recovered, and I'm ready to take on this week, starting with an upper body session. Bench, rows, overhead press, more rows, and a 3-mile run, I believe. But before I get into that, I'd just like to focus on the fact that today is September the 10th, which is World Suicide Prevention Day. And I'd just like to point you in the direction of my most recent YouTube video, where I focus on the 5 things that I wish I had known whilst I was suffering from severe depression from 2014 to 2016. In the knowledge that had I recognised or known even one of those 5 things, I'm confident that I would have been much better off and might have taken the necessary steps that I needed to take to get the help that I needed. So if you do go and watch it and it has any positive impact on your outlook, or if there's anything you can take from it that you deem positive, please do let me know, as I'm really hoping that by sharing my experience, there's something that other people can learn from it. I simply don't want people to make the same mistake that I did. So I'm conscious that this is a training video and not a mental health video, so all I will do is instruct you to go and watch that if you're interested in hearing about those 5 things. But without waffling on for any longer, I have to bench 110 for 3 sets of 3.
Another slice of humble pie for me this week, as I need to come to terms with the fact that my bench press strength isn't quite what it once was. So kick things off with 110 kilos for 3 sets of 3, and I will be honest with you, all 3 sets moved at about a 9 out of 10 effort. They were hard. Another thing to consider as well is the fact that it's quite difficult for me to unrack myself in this setup, just because that beam at the back prevents me from getting right underneath the bar. So I did the logical thing and brought in some backup, in the form of my younger brother Jamie. 2 AMRAP sets here at 95 kilos, managed 6 reps for both. I think he almost grabs the bar here. Yeah, he does, fool. So technique was going a little bit before I would have liked it to, but at the end of the day, I'm out of practice with this movement, so it's just good to build up some volume and see where I'm at with my overall upper body strength. Following on from bench, I had 4 sets of bent over row, 2 supinated, 2 pronated, and I was happy with these, to be honest. 100 kilos this week, so some improvements in reps and weight. Grip strength's holding up quite nicely. I do need to stick on strap for the pronated rows, however, but that's by no means a bad thing. Happy to have got through these and to feel some strength returning to my upper back and lower back, as we all know that a strong back equals a strong person. So, worst exercise in the world, in my humble opinion, to follow. Overhead press, starting things off with 2 sets of 8 at 45, then 2 sets of 5 at 50, and then 2 AMRAPs at 40. Never been good at this movement, probably never will be, and I have committed time in the past to improving it, and it's just never really developed at a rate at which I'd hope. So at the moment, the focus is here for it to build some scap strength and just improve my movement patterns overhead, as that will be essential for the AMRAP on the 17th of November. 3 sets of dumbbell rows, max reps at 40 kilos to finish. Bit of an imbalance on my right and left side, but that's something to be conscious of rather than to be concerned with.
All finished up in the gym, outside for a steady 3-mile run to finish. I'm going to be honest and admit that that session did not feel all that sharp. Everything felt a little bit clunkier and heavier than it should, which is a shame given I've taken an extra rest day specifically to counter that. But hopefully things should improve as the week moves on, and no more upper body volume to worry about this week, so hopefully by next week I will be feeling much sharper. So, you are probably wondering 2 things. Number 1, is that a new haircut? It's sick. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Number 2, what was that cycling event? The Tour of Britain, and it was the Wirral stage just down the road from where I stay, and actually where I do a lot of my cycling myself. So I know if you come around that corner at speed, you can catch a lovely little bit of wind and fly down to the bottom. So there were 4 out in front, and then the rest of them just came through in a huge pack, which was pretty cool to see. Heading downstairs in a second for a lower body session, 175 for 2 sets of 3, hoping that I squat better than I did last week and get my belt on at the right size would be helpful, to be honest. Following that, I've got some AMRAPs at 160, RDLs at 120, max rep sets again, 100 jumping lunges as per usual, and then, drumroll please, a 1.5 mile time trial, which I am very, very sad about. So aiming for around 9 minutes on that, but I'm not particularly conditioned to that speed, and I've never been fast. Probably never will be. So I'll take what I can get today, but it's a good way of seeing where I'm at in that sort of heart rate zone, pace, etc, etc. So without waffling for any longer, I will head downstairs and get on with my squats.
So, kick things off this week with 1200 meter repeats outside, just to get some blood into my legs and get them moving. Then came back into the gym for some mobility work and got myself under a barbell. Warming up with the bar, 60 kilos, 100 kilos, 140 kilos, adding a plate as I go. Very bro, I am aware. Ahead of my top 2 sets of 3 at 175 kilos. I'll be honest and admit I was a little apprehensive going into this session just because last week's squats were so challenging, but I can now retrospectively put that down to fatigue as this week's sets moved so much better. Confidence was sky high and my belt was fitting properly this week, which is also nice. I must have just been bloated or dehydrated, one or the other last week as I was in between belt loops, so could brace properly this week and really feel my way through the movement. Both sets moved as well as each other and yeah, encouraging. So following on from that, I had 2 AMRAP sets at 160 kilos, which just reaffirmed the fact that my technique's feeling pretty solid now and that any failures would probably be down to strength rather than any technical glitches. Got 6 reps for both sets, and again, just nice to know that it wasn't long ago I was getting back into squatting, deadlifting, and just general strength movements. I was fighting my way through sets of 3 at 160. So it's good to see that my strength is making a little bit of a comeback without affecting my ability to train my endurance too much. So after this, I had 3 AMRAP sets at 120 kilos and RDLs, managed 18, 16 and 14, followed by 100 jumping lunges, and then, as you're about to hear, probably my least favourite section of the entire week.
So the time has come. Squats, RDLs, jumping lunges all out the way. 1.5 mile time trial with all this fatigue in my legs, which is gonna suck. So I will see you on the other side. I've got 3 miles to cool down after the 1.5 miles, so I'll come in a little bit less blowing than you'd expect, but aiming for around 9 minutes, but I might redline too soon and finish it in 15. Who knows? We shall see. Made it back in one piece and, drumroll please, managed 1.5 miles in 8:59.47, which, bearing in mind I predicted 9 minutes, is pretty good going. Very pleased with that, all things considered. Whole load of max rep sets in the gym, 91 kilos and just under a 6 minute per mile pace for the duration. So didn't expect that, to be honest. Bit of a spring in my step now, feeling pretty positive. Bodes really well for my anaerobic capacity and just my general ability to grit my teeth and get through things, as that wasn't much fun, but happy days, job done. Good morning! Thursday today, which is normally a rest day for me, but as I have some commitments this afternoon and this evening, as well as being in London all day tomorrow with Movember, I need to get my lunges done today. So, 4 kilometres. Shock, I know. 500 metres more than last week. Reckon it'll take me about 2 hours, 5 minutes, something like that. But bearing in mind I am carrying a lot of fatigue in my legs, as less than 12 hours ago I was doing my lower body session and 1.5 mile time trial, so I'm hoping my knees don't feel too tender and worn out, but we'll see how I get on. Silver lining is, even if this goes horribly, you have seen how bad my moustache is when it's not done up. Looks like an overused wire brush that's been neglected for years, so there is a bonus there. So I will see how I get on. 20 laps of this 200 metre track. No real change of scenery, which is a shame as well. So same old, but see how close I can get to my predicted time, and I will see you afterwards.
So, job done. 4 kilometers of lunges in 2:04:37, which isn't bad considering I guessed I was going to do them in around 2:05. I am at a bit of an advantage with my guesses though, as I've been using the same pace for the past month, so pretty well informed on that one. 20 lunges on, 15 seconds off the whole way round, which gives me a very consistent pace and has been working well, so I'm going to stick with that for as long as I can, or until I break, which might not be long, to be honest. So glad that's out the way, as I wasn't feeling all that up to it this morning, but on to the rest of the week with my long run on Saturday.
Uh-oh. Good evening. So it is 6:15 on Saturday night. Getting this session done a little bit later than I normally would, just because I've been down south at Movember HQ for the past couple of days. So no mountains this week, as you may have gathered by the fact that I'm standing in the gym. Instead, I have a 3-hour ruck run with 10 kilos on my back. So shooting for an average heart rate of 145. Not quite sure how I feel about this yet. I'm kind of looking forward to it, kind of dreading it, but it's been years since I've done anything like this, so I'm just a little bit curious. Not going to film anything along the way just because, 1, I need to get my head down and crack on and keep a steady pace, and 2, rural Wirral isn't that exciting for you, so you're not really missing out on anything. So I will see you in 3 hours' time. There we have it, job done, straight through the door, bag straight off as I am aching. 3 hours, 17.03 miles, average heart rate of 147. So exactly where I wanted to be there really. Happy days. That brings the training total for the week to, and the training total for my prep so far to. Please do remember as well that the reason I'm doing all this is for Movember, so if at any stage you would be so kind as to donate, the link is down below in the description. As always, if you have any feedback, positive or negative, please do let me know. I'm doing these videos for your viewing pleasure and insightfulness, so if I don't know what's going well, what's going badly, then I can't improve. That rounds off another training week. I hope you've enjoyed this week's video, and if you have, please can you do 2 things in return for the suffering I've just endured. Please give the video a like. There is literally a like button. If you could hit it, that'd be great. And please subscribe below. So thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go and eat as much food as I possibly can, and see you next week.